You are listening to the Built to Grow podcast, delivering the knowledge in all things fitness business. We help gym owners win. Here are your hosts, Tim Lyons and Randy Engston.
All right. Hey, guys. How are you doing today? Welcome to the Built to Grow podcast. I'm your host, Tim Lyons, and I'm joined by none other than the pastor of Positivity, Randy Engston. How are we doing, man?
I am so good today. You know, I'm going to start using that because I've officiated a few weddings.
Oh, the pastor.
And, I don't think I'm considered a pastor, but everyone always tries to figure out what to call me.
The pastor
so
Positivity.
I'm just going to go with it.
Let's go with that.
If you claim it, you own it.
Hey, we got a great podcast today. I want to talk to everybody about a quick story. I'm going to start back in my early days, if you will, 2009.
Oh, knee-high to a grasshopper.
2009 is the year that I decided to open a gym. You know, I was working in construction at the time. I hold degrees in construction management in the business school out in Louisiana, where I played football and all that good stuff. I came out to Arizona, and I met a gym owner. It was Anytime Fitness down in the town I was living in. It was in Maricopa. Got to know the guy. I got to know the guy real good. His name is Brian Mullins, in fact, and I still talk to him today. And Brian, at the time, was a police officer, okay, and he had a gym. I was like, man, this guy is cool as hell, right? He's got a gym. He's never there. This place is just rocking. It was, about 1,500 clients. There were 14, something like that. And he was the only show in town. Really, if you know Maricopa, it's just surrounded by desert.
Yeah, a little almost farmland.
Yeah, a little bit. So it's surrounded by desert. There's one show in town. It's the Anytime Fitness. Brian owned it, and he was just crushing. He was crushing. And I, coming from athletics, I was just used to being in the gym, and I got to know Brian really well. And I get to talking to him, and he's like, yeah, man, Anytime Fitness, and, I'm never here, and people just come use the gym. And I was like, man, what an easy business.
Easy. So simple.
So simple,
yeah,
right?
Everybody should have one.
Yeah. And he was never there. I would see him maybe on a Saturday or whatever, and we go to dinner and stuff. And so, fast forward a few years, construction takes a dive in the industry. In the market. 2008.
Probably 2008. Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
And I had already started plans to open a gym, and it was really cool because I was in construction, so I leveraged all my resources, and I was doing the build out, and my architects were part of the company that I was working for. And it was awesome. And we were building away, and all of a sudden 2008 hits, and the economy just gets destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
The construction company I was working for, about 100 employees, and they basically wiped the whole company out. They call it RIFs, reduction in force. And 100 employees down to 3.
Ooh.
And I was one of the 97.
I can understand. Yeah, I moved here that year.
Yeah. So crushed the company, and it was the 2 owners and a secretary. And I was out on the street, and luckily I was probably like 2 months away from opening the gym, so it kind of forced me to go all in on the gym. But what at the time I was trying to model the Anytime Fitness, and if you don't know what it is, it's basically a self-service gym. You use it, key fob access, and you come in and use the gym, and basically renting equipment, for between $29 and $49, and 1,500 members and very low service.
Sure.
So, great model. They've since changed and brought a lot of training in, and we work with a ton of Anytime Fitnesses. So if you're in Anytime Fitness and you guys need some marketing help, coaching help, happy to help you guys. We know the model very, very well, especially with the training model that you guys have gone to. But so I reached out to Anytime Fitness. I was going to do an Anytime Fitness franchise. Well, lo and behold, there's an investment group that owned the territorial rights the entire state. They said, hey, sorry, buddy, this investment group's, they own the territory, so they get the first rights, and, they're not going to do it.
Go scratch.
So I said, okie doke. Well, I don't need the name, because really in 08, 09, they weren't as big as they are now.
Sure, absolutely.
Not even close. Yeah. And so I was like, I'm going to do it on my own. I don't need Anytime Fitness. So let me just, create a Pulse Fitness. And we had the same model. So it was 24 access, key fob access, come on and use the gym. And we had a big independent trainer community in this area at the time. A lot of bodybuilders, a lot of people just doing their own thing. And, and I just gave them space to rent. They would pay me rent and train clients.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't really care about the training revenue, because I was going to get 1,400 members.
Yep.
1,400 members. On paper, that looks really good.
It'd be great, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would be. And I got into the business about 3 years, and not 3 years, 3 months. Sorry, let me stop right there. 3 months, and I knew something was wrong. Every one of those trainers came in. They brought maybe 10, 12 clients each. So, that was a quick 60 clients there. There's 5 coaches, call it 60. And we signed up a ton of new clients. We did pre-sales. We just crushed it, right? And when I thought we were doing great, and all of a sudden the numbers start shaking out, and there's not much money left. And we actually got to a point where we were over 300 clients, and it just wasn't covering the bills. If you remember the rent at the old place, it was in a retail. It's in a retail high-end grocery store chain. This area is called AJ's, and it was it's really expensive over there. And I was paying, I think 3,000 feet. I was paying like almost $10,000, $9,800.
Yeah,
and it was kind of tough. So the one thing that I saw though was that all the trainers were driving nicer cars than I was, and they're flaunting their big, $5,000, $10,000 checks that their clients were paying in full. Yeah, 100 sessions, $5,000, whatever it was.
Sure.
It's like, man, this isn't, something's wrong here. These guys have no risk. They're using my equipment, my space. I got to clean up. I got to, all the expenses, and they're making the grips.
Yeah, the second that session ended, they were nowhere to be seen.
Yeah, they weren't helping on nothing.
Oh, yeah.
And they didn't have to. They were paying rent, right? They weren't part of the company.
Absolutely.
So I realized pretty quick that I needed to make a change. And the whole point of this is that if I didn't see that and I was really in love and stuck on the model, I'd be out of business, period. So I ran into a gentleman named Rick Mayo, and he's still a good friend of mine. You know Rick very well. And I got a chance to I got to talk to him, and on the phone, got introduced to him through another friend of mine. Anyways, got in touch with Rick, and he said, "Yeah, man, fly on out, pay me, $1,500, and you come check out what I'm doing." Rick had a great model. He was a training model. All the coaches worked for the company, his company, and they just were crushing it. I think in 2009, 2010, he was doing 7 figures. Early in the game, and probably one of the only studios probably around that time doing that kind of revenue.
Yeah.
And I went out there and I just learned. I was like, "Man, Rick, what are you doing, buddy?" He's like, "Man, just do this, do this, do this." And I remember going to a dinner. It was my wife. I brought my wife with me, and we went out to Atlanta, and we went to dinner. And he's like, "Tell me about your business model. Like, go ahead and draw it on this napkin." I remember the napkin. I was like, "I drew this." And I was like, "All right, well, I've got the leg press here and the hack squat over here, the cables, and I got the Smith machine in this corner, and the dual cable." I had one free motion machine that was a dual cable, and I had a bicep machine and a chest press. And
it got me in the gym at one point.
I know. Had all this fixed plane equipment and no space. It was 3,000 feet just slapped to the, just jammed full of equipment. I think I had 9 treadmills that were just slammed to the wall.
It
was the whole thing. Yeah, so it was all equipment. You look in there, you couldn't move 5 feet before hitting something else. And I said, "Okay, man, to do your model, Rick, what should I do with all this equipment? I mean, it's 3-4 months old right now. I still have a lot of money on it. Like, what do you do?" He goes, "Here's what you do." He took a red marker. I remember it. Put a big X through the hack squat. He put an X through the leg press, X through the Smith machine, X through all the fixed plane plate loaded selectorized equipment. Boom, 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 boom. He left me with the free motion and the dual cable and another cable machine and some dumbbells.
Yeah.
He said, "Hey, man,
it's time."
He goes, he said this, I'll never forget. "The best piece of equipment you can have is space in our model. You need space to train clients." And the whole point was that I would get, rid of the equipment to bring in another service, training service, and I would have to hire my own coaches, and I would coach, and it would be this training gym. And literally flew back overnight, made a decision. We wrote a letter. We had a seminar in the gym with all the current clients, and we made a change. We changed Pulse Fitness from Anytime Fitness, check in, some training if you wanted it, to a 100% training facility. I got rid of all the independent coaches and basically hired my own team. And it was a nightmare at the beginning.
Sure.
Scared out of my mind. Overnight, we lost 3/4 of the clients. We did allow everybody to do a free month of training, once we got the coaches onboarded and we let them do it. And I was scared, and we immediately lost almost all of our clients. I was like, "Whoa, Rick, man,
that wasn't the goal.
We're supposed
to go the other way."
And exactly. And but the moral of the story is that we haven't turned back, and we've created this great model that using Rick's advice, and we've changed plenty of stuff since then. But we turned the ship, and we shot off in a new direction, 100 miles an hour, and we've never turned back. We're making great money, and the gym was saved, right? Changed the model.
It brings up, so you have a fixed location.
Yes.
You're set based on square footage. You can't change that at this point, right? There's no opportunity to expand or do anything like that for the space.
Locked in.
What changed what was the breakthrough? What changed other than just the model that allowed you to not see the same struggle, if you may, that you were growing into?
Well, I realized if I didn't make the change, we'd be out of business, and I just came to reality. It wasn't about what I thought was the best; it was what was best, and for the business, I had to make a change. The clients in our area are a little bit higher end. They want that personal attention, and they didn't really want. Although we had 300 plus clients, they just didn't want a gym that they just go in. They wanted to be coached.
Yes.
I didn't see it. Like, I needed to get a new set of eyeballs into the gym. It was Rick at the time, and he's like, "Dude, this is what you got to do." And I needed coaching. I didn't know. I didn't know what I didn't know. We talked about that already.
Yep.
And I wasn't stubborn, right? Like a lot of the gym owners are A personalities. It's
very much so,
right? And if I was so hard-headed and so in love with my idea, we would not be here. I would be in the center. I'd be done. I'd be probably back in construction somewhere.
You remained coachable, and not only from just being open and willing. You realized there was a problem. You sought out a solution, and then when that solution was provided, you didn't fight it with resistance. You allowed that change to take place. And that's exactly what we hope with our clients, right? They come to us with a problem. We have a solution. It might not be 100% exactly, hey, go do this, but it's better than what they've been working at. And there's a thought process where we're intentional about the things that we bring to the table. It's because a lot of the lessons that you've learned in that transition, we go back to that transition all the time. This conversation happens in our business often. And it's about being able to change and mold and adapt. One thing that we talk about all the time is being able to increase the effectiveness or the profitability of a set square. What is that square footage worth to your business?
Okay. Yeah, revenue per square foot.
Per square foot. Mm-hmm.
And it was eye-opening, but I had to make the change. I had no choice. Like the pain was high. I was going to go out of business or whatever. I could have probably found money if I continued to borrow money and figured it out. But eventually, it would have fallen apart.
Sure.
So I would have just been even deeper in the hole. So I found I realized the problem. I didn't know how to fix it. I sought out a solution, and I didn't think twice. When I was told, and somebody I respected, I was told what to do, I did it. And it pissed a lot of people off because I was dragging that leg press, and there was like 2 clients hanging on to it, like, give me that leg press.
I think I helped you load that into a truck.
I was like picket signs and riots outside the gym, but I had to do it. And it comes down to, how do you make more money in your business? There's really only 3 ways to make more top line revenue. And that's 1, to get more clients, and they weren't coming in as fast as we wanted. So that was kind of, you either just play the long game, which I didn't have time, or you just don't do it. You don't get there. So it wasn't going to be more clients. Number 2 is increase the average transaction amount per client. And
sure.
that was the answer for us. And number 3, the third way to make more money is to increase the frequency of purchases from your current clients. So you get more clients, you increase the average cart value or transaction value per client per transaction, and then you get higher frequency of purchases.
Those
are the only 3 ways to make more money. To keep more money, make more profit. There's a lot of ways, right?
Sure,
Reducing
absolutely.
expenses, et cetera. But that's the only way to make more money. And I had to increase the average transaction value. So our price points back then were $29, $39, $49, something like that, and now they are, $149 to $529. So, $299, $399, $499, $529. And our average transaction value now is about $275. And yeah, I need less clients to make way more.
And that's exactly what it comes down to, is the fact that, the struggle of having to go find more clients. It's exponential,
Right.
You could you could reach the same result given a lot less work. And that's just by changing the model and changing, the structure of how the business was operating.
Yeah.
One thing to touch on there too is we're all in the business because we want to help other people. But at the end of the day, if you can't realize that the business has to operate and make money.
It's a business.
It's a business, Right.
Right.
We're not in, we see the progression of people moving through from a trainer, opening their own location,
Right.
turning around. There's an education that if you haven't sought it out.
Well, didn't you just speak to a private client today
absolutely.
about this?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a common thread with a lot of new business owners.
What did you guys talk about?
So there's a lot of resistance when it comes to a business owner or a person in a sales position now, previously a trainer, ascending through, now owning their own place, and turning around and having to now have the operations and the requirements of operating a business be the focus of their time and attention, as opposed to just giving somebody the best service training possible. Typically, personality types, a lot of trainers are what we like to kind of consider like a nurturer. They're out to help people. They're caring, they're passionate, but they often have resistance when it comes time to asking for a sale, making that transition or making that transaction take place. And so one of the things that we work on is just kind of realigning the beliefs around the transaction that's actually happening. When somebody, there's benefits to charging a client a substantial amount for the training, not only just the fact that it's good for the business, but what it does for a client as far as accountability.
Right.
Like, we've all purchased something where you're going to get your value out of it because it stings. You've invested good money for something. You value it more.
Yeah, when you pay a lot, you're going to pay more attention.
Absolutely.
People who pay attention. There's
a reason why the free trials and these tactics aren't always the right client for the business, is because those people, regardless of having, they don't have skin in the game, or they don't have enough skin in the game to take what they're doing and what they're receiving seriously. They don't put it through the same kind of judgment and process that they would if it had more of a sting to it. And so when certain things affect our lives, like a substantial payment, we take it and we hold it to a higher value.
Right.
And realigning your belief systems around just money is just an exchange. It's a tool. That's all it is. A client coming to you for training wants what you have as far as, or what you're offering. There's a value to the results. That's what their hope is to get out of paying for the service. The way that they're receiving that value is by exchanging money. It's not a negative. It happens in everything that we do. It's no different than a barter. If we didn't have money, we'd used to work off our, debts, basically, right? We'd exchange our services
for debt. Yeah. And you said it before. It was trainers are nurturers. They want to help people, and they feel like unintentionally, they feel like when they take money or take the money for the sale that they're hurting that other person.
Absolutely. And it's ingrained in almost everything that they do. And so if you can't come to a realization that that's
not what's really happening.
Well, it's how you operate. So you have this resistance, right? And it's going to spill over into other aspects of your business. When you go to complete every sale, when you go to train as a business owner now, you're turning around and you're training your sales team. If you have resistance around sales, so will they. And it's going to spill over into every finger of your business. Back to other ways of making more money. Are you raising that average cost per transaction, or the number of services that each of your clients are taking part in, a lot of resistance towards the sales in general. And it's
I think the confidence of
Absolutely.
not just the asking for money, but the confidence of that their product's going to solve that client's issues. Like, do you really feel confident about your product? If you know without a shadow of a doubt that your service is going to solve that person's problem, sales becomes not easy.
It's your moral obligation to sell something that you believe in.
Yeah. So one of the big things that we do here at ProFit is we do sales coaching. That is a big hurdle for a lot of gym owners.
Absolutely.
Private client we spoke to today, Randy spoke to him. He gave me the cliff notes, but basically he asked, what's the biggest problem you're facing right now? And he goes, I have trouble taking money from my clients.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, they'll hand me money and I'll find a way to give it back somehow.
Literally
give them a discount,
find a way to get it
hey,
back.
You pay me next time, or hey, we'll just do this one and just let me know when you can get me paid, next time. And that's a problem. You're going to be out of business pretty soon. So
Quickly.
We're working on that private client on how to get, a better sales process. It's mostly mindset for him.
Mm-hmm.
It's not saying here's the sales process. It's like freaking getting out of his own head.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And in this unique situation, it is a lot of that confidence in the product, that they're bringing forth. It's the fact that they feel that they've done their due diligence, that they've put in the hours, that they feel confident to ask for the sale,
the higher money.
Yeah, exactly.
Or they discount the rates and be like, it's really not worth that much. Let me just give it to you for half off.
Yeah.
I had a lot of trouble with sales early. I didn't know the process. I was never coached. I was just, same thing. I was like, yeah, just do, we can get you in here for a little bit less. If that, if somebody gave me any kind of resistance early in the game, I'd find a way to make it work.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's like our price, you can't negotiate with us.
Well, it's a scarcity mindset. How many people are so rooted in the fact that, I need to make every transaction take place regardless of if I'm getting what I actually deserve out of the situation.
Or if that client's a good fit.
And protecting your tribe,
yeah.
Another very important.
Sometimes you bring in the bad apple, and just because you need the money, and you end up ruining a lot of things down the road.
And the last thing you want to do is watch one. We've seen it. I think every business that we've worked with, it's happened in their businesses as well. One client and the demeanor that they bring to a training session can spill over and negatively impact the rest of the people that they're surrounded by. And now you've already cut yourself out by not providing enough value in that one transaction. You brought in somebody who is not appropriate for your tribe, if you may. Mm-hmm. And now you've risking future business from other people who are happy here already.
Yeah.
And so, it's protecting, who you hear it a lot, protecting your tribe or your business or however you want to go about it.
We were just in Australia, and I guess it's a year ago now, and I remember working with that gym owner in Australia, and he was turning people away. Remember? Oh, he's like, "We don't need you here. You're not a good fit." Well, actually, it didn't go just like that, but the conversation with us off camera, off the record was, "Yeah, man, that guy's not a good fit here. I don't want him here."
We were stunned.
I was like,
to the degree that
I thought he was a great fit.
Yeah,
but he.
he's standing waving his credit card at you. I don't know how much better of a fit it seemed, but
we weren't in the sales consultation. But after the sales consultation, the gym owner came to us and was like, "Yeah, no, I didn't sell that guy. He wanted to buy, but I don't want him here. He's not a good fit. He doesn't fit our culture."
Mm-hmm.
And to be in a position that he was in, and you could pick and choose who your clients are, that's a great place to be.
I think that would be the ideal situation most business owners would like to be in. And to speak to his credibility and what it did for his organization, he had no shortage of people coming through the door.
No.
That facility is maxed.
Yeah.
So he does have the luxury at this point to be a little bit more crucial
and
selective. That was
pretty cool though.
It was.
I even made a Facebook Live about it. I was like, "Man, we just finished this and we just didn't take the client because he wasn't a good fit."
Yeah, it didn't work.
And the gym owner is just in that great position. It's a great position. He has a great gym, and I know him. We know each other for a while, and just a great client of ours, and just crushes it.
And it's a simple. It's not something that you have to put a lot of thought or energy and emotion into. Mm-hmm. If somebody's not the right or appropriate fit, it's okay, and that's not a bad thing.
Right.
You know what I mean? So they will find a home. They will find the facility that's right for them. So don't feel bad necessarily either.
Yep.
And
but don't make that as an excuse as to why you're not making sales.
I can absolutely tell you that some of our coaching clients, some of our sales coaching clients lately have, they've what's the word I'm looking for?
Qualified.
Yeah, like kind of pre-qualified these individuals almost too aggressively. Part of the sales belief, right? Everybody should be a perfect fit, and then you find reasons why they don't fit into your business, or you may not fit into your program. Well, these guys were so aggressive about it that they were having
I think it's the other way. Is their sales process was pretty bad, and to make themselves feel better, they just gave themselves the excuse, that guy really wasn't a good fit. He wasn't going to be a good fit here. So they, maybe meant subconsciously they just let it go. But I've seen it the other way, where like I've had fitness directors in the past that didn't make a sale, and that was their excuse.
That was an excuse. This was directly from the horse's mouth. He told me outright he would push people out of the business, and I think ultimately it was a fear of actually completing a sale.
Yeah.
But he'd find an excuse in the process to disqualify them, so he didn't have to ask for the sale. So
sales is a touchy subject, but in this business, we are a business. We have to take money.
It's not a bad thing.
It's a great thing.
Like it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. Money's just a means of transaction, trading value, right? It's okay to charge a lot for your services. You will weed out a lot of people, but people value when they pay a lot. I know that I've bought coaching courses and masterminds that $25,000 a year.
Yeah.
And I'm right. I'm invested mentally, physically. I'm there. I'm at the masterminds. I'm there because I valued it. Because I paid the money. If it was $5,000 or $2,000, I'd probably I'll find a reason not to get involved.
Find a reason not to.
So yeah, the higher the price point, the more they pay attention. And if your sales process is broken and you don't feel like you're making sales on a regular, consistent basis, let's just say 7, 8, 9 out of 10 clients that you sit down with.
Or if you don't know how successful your sales process is.
Let's talk, because we have a private client coaching sales training that for those of you guys who don't know, this will be the first time we introduce Kelly. She's not here in the room with us, but Kelly does a lot of our sales, and she's a young sales gun, and she's damn good. And
Very good.
She coaches our 4-week sales coaching course, and we've had some great success. Not only just knowing the KPIs, having scripts, having a process that people go through every single time. It's the same exact thing. And when you perfect that sales process, you put 10 people in, 7 people pop out as clients, 8 people pop out as clients. You know that to be a fact. It's just getting more people in now.
More at the top of the funnel.
Yeah.
If we look at it kind of the same way we do as marketing, the processes it's a client expectation. And when it's the same each time, you now have something that is a baseline.
Yep.
If you don't have something in line, if you wing every single sales consultation, who knows where your successes and your failures are in the process.
Yep.
So making sure that you have scripts, the actual same experience for everybody coming through the door, and it's going to translate to the rest of the business because that's the first initial experience that these clients are going through, and if they can expect the same thing throughout here. When it turns around and it's on the training floor, it's going to be the same thing.
Yep.
And I know you've modeled your, the training model the same way for that exact reason as well.
Yeah, and we can get into that another podcast another time. But, the point of this podcast is not to be so hard-headed and in love with your service that you can't make a rational decision to make a change. Seeking out help and doing the things that it takes to make the changes. And once you are given direction, being coachable and actually taking action, and then having systems in place at the sales level, and not be afraid of sales. You need the sales.
The biggest thing this is because it's such a common thread amongst gym owners. There is a very big resistance around sales, and I think it's just becoming more and more prevalent as we get into more of the coaching. The easiest way that I can look at the situation is the more successful you are as if your belief systems from the core and what makes you operate is the fact that you want to be there to help people, look at the opportunity to help more and more people the more successful you are.
There you go.
You can only touch so many lives, pinching your wallet each month trying to make ends meet. You're limited. If let's say you build a little nest egg and you build some profitability and you can now reinvest to help more people, to market to more people,
get more
and make
coaches.
more coaches, more
bigger square footage,
more people through the door.
Equipment, whatever it is.
Yeah, exactly. But you can't do that with a limited belief and a limited, funds. And so the stigma around money is not a bad thing. We're in business for that purpose and to change lives while we're doing it. So it's kind of like your passion, your mission. Everything's ingrained. But at the end of the day, we should all want to be successful. And the more successful you are, the more lives you can touch.
There you go. Nailed it. So, yep, guys, if you need help, if you need sales coaching, if you need a private client coaching group, we're still accepting applications. pfmarketingsolutions.com/call. You could always pick up my book at timlyonsbook.com. That was a good episode.
A lot of nuggets.
Hopefully, if you learned something, do us a favor, share this podcast. We are just getting this thing off the ground. This is episode 4, and we're looking to do another 400 of these things.
Yeah, let's keep it going.
Got plenty to say, that's for sure. So do us a favor, give us a like, give us a share this with your friends, gym owners that if you found value. Obviously, if you didn't find any value, don't tell anybody, I guess, right?
Yeah, back to a 1 on the reviews.
Yeah. We're not doing paid, whatever sponsorships to this podcast. It's straight nuggets, straight talk, and just our mission is to help over 500 gym owners this next year, over the next 12 months, win. Yeah, gym owners, we help gym owners win. That's our mission statement. So that's it for now, guys. We appreciate you guys listening in, and we will see you guys on the next one.